This is Mario with MIA Microflight, and in this video I am going to show you how I make this really fine flock material for scale scenery items like trees, bushes, etc. Basically the material that you see here is has been ground to this size here with a coffee grinder, just a small coffee grinder. I did this in sections, and the material that I used to do this is 1/4 inch sheet of foam, which I took from an old chair, office chair. I repurposed that, and so I had some of that stuff left over, and so I stuck it in there. Material was black to begin with, and once it was grounded to this consistency here, you can see it's really not that fine, but it works okay for making trees. If you want to just quickly attach this material with adhesive spray, to the tree form, and so that's what you're seeing here. Of course, it's been coated. I coat these with just some latex type paints, and let it dry. This typically takes about 2 days, because I have to cut this wet in the coffee grinder. Otherwise, it tends to float. The small pieces that need to be ground, they tend to float unless they have a little bit of weight to them. And so the only way to do that is with water. Just infuse them with water, and then just let the grinder do the rest. Of course, the grinder has to be shook a few times, for the foam to fall to the bottom and continue grinding. But this is the consistency that it comes out with, and it's fairly quick if you do it that way. I have been considering doing my own machine, a grinder that I can have some kind of a setting where I can grind the material, same foam, in a lot quicker in large volumes, and so that I can also not only do it in large volumes, but also do it in with some kind of a adjustment, so that I can grind, to various resolutions. Here, this is a coarse resolution, and what you're seeing here in this little machine here, and I'll show you what this machine does in a little while. Here, it's a really fine resolution. You can see the inside here. It's almost like I wouldn't call it powder, but it's very, very fine. This is almost like true coffee grind consistency here. If you take coffee, or if you buy coffee, in the regular containers that has been grounded, this would be the consistency of that. Of course, it's a lot lighter than coffee grinds, because it's foam. So, in the process of considering doing my own machine, I went out today. And it's interesting that I find these things as I need them. It's just the nature. I'm very lucky with things of that nature, because every time I work on a project, and I need to find things quickly, I tend to find them very quickly and inexpensively. It's just I'm very lucky with that respect. So I went to Goodwill today. I went out to get some dinner, and while in the process of doing that, I decided to stop at the local Goodwill store, just to see what they had. And I was actually looking for some kind of a larger coffee grinder than the small cup size container that I've been grinding this material at. And so that's what I was looking for, and I couldn't find anything in the section where they have all the appliances. So I walked away from there, and I went over to where they have lamps and things of that nature, and I found this device here. At first I was like, is this a steamer for clothing? And then I saw the head, and I go, no, that does not look like a steamer, because it has some blades inside, and I noticed it's got this blade. So this almost looks like a one of those electric shavers, but it's designed for removing lint from clothing. And I go, wow, so the price for this was $249, believe it or not. And here's where the sticker was. It's just a little dirty there, but it's almost brand new. It looks like somebody used it a couple of times and decided, not to store this away, or somebody just gave it to Goodwill for resale. So $249, I couldn't pass that offer. That's the other thing, like I was saying, I find these things like When I'm working on a project, I just go to Goodwill and I find what I need. The other time, just to share this little bit of a story, I was working on an amplifier because my old amplifier, the amplifier chips went out, and so rather than me spending money, I was going to buy the MOSFETs, the power MOSFETs for that stereo amplifier to replace my on my old amplifier, which I had for many years, and I had already replaced that one or two times before, and I mean that was a 30-year-old amplifier. I go to Goodwill store and I find an even better amplifier already that only had an issue with the on-off button. So I tested it and I go, that looks like it's going to work. If the good thing is that if it doesn't work, you can return it. But at the price, I think I paid like $17 for that amplifier. I bring it home and it's a beautiful amplifier. So I ended up trashing my old one. Considering I didn't want to get rid of it because it was a Pioneer. It was a very nice amplifier. I decided just to replace it with this other one that I bought for $17, and that's pretty much. I'm very lucky with these things. When I'm working on a project, I go to Goodwill and I find something that will work, for that specific project. And so it just happens that this is, I just walk in, I start looking, and I find this device here. I didn't know they had these devices. This is this is something new to me, but. I said, well, let me give it a shot for $249. It's not that bad. I bring it home and check this out. Look what it's doing. It's making really, really fine flock. I'm taking this flock right here, which is dry, by the way. You got to do these things when they're dry, and I'm just sticking it in there. And I'll show you in a little while here how this works. And it's grinding it to that resolution there, which is a lot finer than this. So a great little tool. So I thought I'd make this video and share this with people. If you can come across one of these devices here, let me see if I can. That is made by it says Windmere Clothes Shaver Plus, and it's powered by 4 AA size batteries here. You can also power it. It looks like it's got an input here for a transformer, but I'm just using four AA size batteries. The switch was a little bit dirty, so I took this apart and I cleaned it, and now it's working just fine. And you can take this out here. You can see how I adapted this with this plastic cup, so that I can just dump material there a lot easier, and I can shave it. But just to give you an idea what this looks like inside, it's got 3 blades here. It's a very clever design here. It's got this as the mesh or the screen, and it's got these little blades here. These are not really they're made out of some kind of a metal material. They're not like X-Acto blades. I thought they were like X-Acto blades, but they're not. They're actually very thin metal sheet, bent and ground, to provide this sharp edge here. And there's got 3 of them. And behind this part right here, it's just simply attached with this wire springs there. So you can see how this moves in and out. And that's just to allow this cutter to have a little more give, in case a piece gets stuck, a lint or something gets stuck. So it's got a little more it's got a bit of a give there. So this is I already started making some of this stuff, and I'll give you a little demo on how this works here. So I would highly recommend, if you want to do what I'm doing here and just make some finer flock, it's just go get one of these machines. Eventually I will probably build something, like I said, that has similar concepts, similar ideas, because my thought was that if I can build some kind of like a meat grinder, the other reason this caught my interest, why I bought it, is because meat grinders kind of have a similar setup here. They have the blades behind a mesh, and as the meat is being forced into it from behind, via a coiled screw, it forces the meat and it goes through the blades that spin that do the actual cutting. The same idea here, except that in this it's the reverse. I'm actually feeding the material from the outside instead of from the inside, and this has an opening there where it's spitting out the material. So kind of similar concept, but of course this is a very low power, but it's doing the job just fine. And right now I'm just going to demonstrate the process here. So a really cool device, and I just, like I said, I was, it was like this was meant for me to buy it. I just went there and started looking, and this was just sitting looking at my mind, because I was thinking of something similar, and this was like, hey, you want to give me a try? I'm right here. So it's just the way things work out. When I'm working on projects, I'm very lucky, and I find things, some interesting things that way. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So I'm going to take some of this flock here, this coarse flock, and I'm trying to be very careful not to spill this. I'm working over this plastic section here so that it doesn't spill out, because this stuff can go all over the place here, and I just don't want it to spill all over the place here. Okay, so that's the reason for this cup also, is to contain it. Now this cup could be taller, or could be, I'm thinking of adapting this, making some kind of a larger container here that it fits over this screw-on cap. The screw-on cap also can regulate the thickness of the grounded foam here by opening this, tightening or untightening this slightly here, because it kind of allows the blades not to be so close to the surface of that mesh. So, but I have it nice and not really tight, but just nice and snug there. So once you trigger this, it's going to be a little bit loud here. It's not really that loud, but see, this is what I'm talking about, the switch. I'm just going to replace that switch. I do have switches similar to that one, and so that, or maybe build this into some kind of a box here that's more permanent, because I'm having to hold this on an angle here. I mean, it's not meant to, obviously it wasn't meant to do this, but I'm adapting this. So I think a nice box or support here that can support this like this would be a lot better. Maybe even this can be built into with a bigger container, so that I can, and this with a bigger container 3D printed, that I can just push the material there. Now the trick here is to push the material with some kind of a stick, or some kind of a blunt item here, just to get it to go through the mesh and make contact with the blades, which are actually doing the cutting. The three blades. You could also do it with your hand, but so if you don't get your hand too close to the edge there, because it is like a shaver, like a beard shaver, like a man's shaver. It's got those blades behind that mesh. Kind of similar concept here, except that we're cutting the foam here. So where's that piece that I was using before? So something like this, yeah, okay. It does take a little bit of time, to get this to go through the cutter and get it round to this consistency. But I think in a good 15 minutes, you can have a good amount of this material here. I mean, this right here is a good chunk of. I have quite a bit of this, and I made almost 3 or 4 of these buckets here already, with different in different shades of green, so that I can have a variation. So when I do my trees, and I apply this, it's going to have, you know, this will have not only a variation in volume, but also in color. So I think if I were to scale this up by maybe two or three times, I can have a very nice grinder, and to vary the resolution of the mulch or the grind or the grounded pieces, it would be just a matter of changing the filter. In other words, this mesh here, just varying the mesh size, and maybe reversing, instead of feeding this from the outside towards the inside, do the opposite, like a meat grinder. You know, basically what I'm thinking of is a very highly refined meat grinder, but not, of course, not designed for meat processing, but for this type of material, foam. This foam is, you know, it's not your. This foam has a little bit of elasticity, being that it's, you know, it came out from an office chair. It's not, you know, it's not the beaded foam. It's not that type of foam. It's not that high density foam, but it's more. It's a sponge material, basically. I mean, I'm thinking you could do the same with sponge material, and this may even work with just a sheet of sponge, just feeding it little by little as I'm pushing this material through here. And it's actually shaving the material. That's what it's doing, because if we take this, consider this, it seemed like a shaver, like a man's beard shaver. You know, that's exactly what's happening here. And I'm pretty sure that you can take this material that's already processed, feed it back again, and you can even get a finer mesh, a finer finish on this material here. So it's this tool is excellent. It's right up my alley, and you know, I'm very excited that this is working the way it is. It's in this video here, and yeah, I thought I'd share this video. So if you can get a hold of one of these. Let me shut this off. You can get a hold of one of these tools here. You know, you can do pretty much the same thing as I'm doing, and that's a good amount of flock there. Look at that, nice and small. You know, so this will work great. You know, for applying it almost like a powder over trees. You know, where you want to really get into the crevices of the trees, like the trees that I've been making. You know, so this is going to be a nice. Maybe filler or primer, even, you know, if you want to just prime it with this initially, so it gets into the trunks or the branches first, and then this would go on the outside, the edges, you know, so it creates more of a fluffy, more of a full tree illusion there, because you know, we're kind of mimicking real life foliage and greenery, and so the more variation you have in colors and in thickness, as I was saying before, in resolution, you know, the better your product's going to be when you start using multiples of that, or a variation of those materials and colors. So anyway, this is Mario once again with MIM Microflight, and what a nice little tool. Once again, this is called a Windmere Clothes Shaver Plus. There may be other clothes shavers, I don't know, they may be bigger than this, which might work even better, more powerful, but you know, I was lucky to stumble on this little guy here, and it's doing the job for me just fine. Stay tuned for more.